Welcome to the class again. We are just discussing about the selectivity using selectrides. We can reduce these compounds with normal sodium borohydride or zinc borohydride, but what we get is major and minor products. Maybe up to 90% or less than 90% will be the major product. Around 10% will be the minor product. But when we use selectrides, what happens? Selectrides being more sterically crowded, they will have more selectivity. The selectivity will be like a major product will be more than 99% and minor product will be less than 1%, or sometimes there is a possibility for the formation of only one product. So that is what the importance of selectrides. So in this case, on the bridgehead, we have only one hydrogen, which is creating sterically crowded, whereas below the plane, we have three hydrogens, which are creating sterically crowded. So in this case, L-selectride approach this molecule from above the plane. So what we will have is alpha alcohol. In this case, we will call it as endo alcohol. Okay. So it is 100%. Here, the product is 100%. So hydrate transfer takes place from above the plane. Alcohol will be below the plane. This is called endo alcohol. When we use this fellow, again, you see, it is a double bond. So the hydrogens will be in the plane. They are not above the plane. They are not below the plane. They are in the plane. Okay. So they don't create any sterical crowding around this ketone because they are not below the plane. They are in the plane. Then we have one hydrogen as usual on the bridgehead, which is creating sterical crowding. We have one more hydrogen here, which is creating sterical crowding below the plane. Okay. But still, see, the product will be okay. Why? Because the bridge carbon is also above the plane. So along with the hydrogen, this carbon may also create some more sterical crowding, but below the plane, see, only one hydrogen is there. Only one hydrogen is creating sterical crowding. So that is why here the L-selectride selectively adds to this carbonyl from below the plane. So the alcohol product here will be an exo alcohol. Hydrate transfer takes place from below the plane, so it is an exo alcohol. Remember, here only one hydrogen is creating sterical crowding from below the plane, one hydrogen creating sterical crowding above the plane. But because of this bridgehead, and L-selectride is even more selective compared to other reagents. So because the bridge is there above the plane, so L-selectride cannot approach this molecule from above the plane. So it will easily approach this molecule from below the plane. Whereas in this case, it is very clear. The methyl group in the camphor, methyl group is present on the bridgehead, which creates a very large sterical crowding compared to the three hydrogens which are creating sterical crowding below the plane. So again, here L-selectride transfers the hydride from below the plane. So the alcohol will be exo. Remember, here there is no major minor product. There is only one product available. One product formation takes place. We can also discuss the selectivity in case of enones. Whereas unsubstituted enones, they will undergo 1,4 addition. They will undergo 1,4 addition when we use only one equivalent. Okay, for example, if you are taking case electride and when we are using only one equivalent, then they will undergo 1,4 addition. So only double bond will undergo reduction, carbonyl will not undergo reduction. The same enone, when we have substitution on the double bond, when we have substitution on the double bond, then this position is sterically crowded, right? So the selectride cannot approach this double bond. So 1,4 addition is not possible now. The selectivity will further improve if we have some more substituents either at this position or at this position. Okay, so in this case it is only 1,2 addition, it is not 1,4 addition. So simply unsubstituted enones will undergo 1,4 addition with selectrides, whereas substituted enones they will undergo 1,2 addition. So we don't know the position of alcohol, that is why I have written a wave-like bond. A wave-like bond represents a racemic mixture. A wave-like bond represents a racemic mixture. That means both above the plane and below the plane alcohols are possible. So a wave like this. We will use this bond to represent a racemic mixture or a mixture of both alpha and beta products. Next, we will discuss lithium borohydrate reductions. Sorry, lithium aluminum hydrate reductions. In short, we use LAH, lithium aluminum hydride. Again, it is a solid compound and very powerful reducing agent. So we must be very careful when we are using LAH. There were 2 or 3 fire accidents where a mishandling of LAH leads to an explosion. Okay, so you must be very careful. When you are careful, it is very easy to handle it. But if you think that it is easy to handle, then that's it. Okay, it is a very powerful reagent. It immediately explodes. If you are a bit negligent, it immediately explodes. Okay, so you must be very careful when we are using lithium aluminum hydride. Since it is a powerful reducing agent, it can reduce almost all the reductible functional groups. Okay, so there will be no chemoselectivity. It will reduce aldehydes, ketones, esters, carboxylic acids, nitro groups, alkyl halides, okay, except alkenes, alkynes. all other functional groups will be reduced with LAH. It is a solid compound and it is very explosive if it is exposed to moisture. That means it is very highly hygroscopic material. Weighing bottles will be there, which are sealed bottles. So we can weigh LAH in weighing bottles. Okay, we cannot use normal papers for weighing. And at the same time, LAH bottle must be opened in nitrogen atmosphere. Okay, we cannot open it outside nitrogen atmosphere. Why? Because when moisture is exposed, it is explosive. Okay, it immediately explodes. So such a dangerous reagent. Okay, you must be very, very careful if you are about to use LAH. It releases 3H plus only. It releases 3H plus, H minus when it is doing any reduction. Okay, unlike the sodium borohydride where it can give all the 4 H minus, but LAH can only give 3 H minus. So because it is very hygroscopic, very, very hygroscopic, so we must first learn how to quench this. So when we are using LAH reaction and at the end of the reaction, how do we do workup? Okay, a normal procedure for any other reagents, what we do, we will simply add either a dilute acid, very dilute acid, or simply water at the end of the reaction. But when we add water to LAH, what happens? It is an explosive reagent, so an explosion may take place. So we must be very, very careful while doing workup. Okay, so the workup procedure itself is different for this reaction. So I'll tell you the workup procedure. Workup or decomposition of the excess reagent. When we use it in a reaction, may not be 100% may not be used in the reaction. Maybe some percent will be left over. So how to quench that first? How to decompose the excess reagent first? Okay, there are 3 different methods, but I'll give the best method also. Okay, so the first method is by slow addition of ethyl acetate. Ethyl acetate is an ester. If it wants to undergo reduction, it will take 2H minus to become alcohol. It takes 2H minus. So it is a better method to add ethyl acetate drop wise. Okay, when we add ethyl acetate drop wise, so it consumes the excess LAH and the byproduct is ethanol only. Okay, ethanol is again a solvent, so it can be easily separated. So first we will add dropwise ethyl acetate. When we observe that there is no further reaction, that means when there is a reaction, we can simply observe the evolution of hydrogen, right? Because H minus, no, not like that, but we can easily observe whether the reaction is happening or not. Okay. So when the reaction is completed with ethyl acetate, then what we can do, followed by methanol, we will just check this. Okay, followed by methanol. Methanol being the proton being more acidic, so H minus can easily pick up this also. Okay, if you add this first itself, it will lead to an explosion. Okay, so first we should not add this, then water, finally water. Okay, but this method we must follow it very, very carefully. Okay, because what we are doing a reduction reaction. We are not just quenching it, we are doing the reduction reaction. So we must be very, very careful. And in the second method, we can use Rachel's salt. What is Rachel's salt? Rachel's salt is sodium potassium tartrate. It will have 2 carboxylic acid functional groups. So 2 carboxylic acid functional groups altogether, they will take 4 hydride ions for the reduction to alcohols. Okay, so each carboxylic acid functional group will take 2 hydride ions. So altogether, one molecule of tartaric acid will take 4 hydride ions. So what we are doing here also we are doing a reduction reaction. Okay, again the byproduct is a simple solvent which can be easily separated by evaporation or distillation. Okay, so these two methods must be done very carefully. Okay, these are not like add whatever the amount you want and then just wait for something. No, it's not like that. Okay, they must be added very carefully, drop wise. But we will have a simple method, and most people follow this method. It is, yeah, first we have to prepare a mixture where we will take large cellite. Cellite is just an inorganic powder. Okay, it is not a reactive molecule, it is just an inorganic powder. Then we will use sodium sulfite because sodium sulfite will undergo reduction. Sodium sulfite will undergo reduction, so LaH will reduce this, so that LaH will decompose. Then we also use little H2O, little H2O. Okay, so we will take very large amount, say for example it is 50 grams. We will take very small amount, say it is 1 gram. We will add very little water, say less than 1 ml, just 5 drops or 6 drops, something like this. Okay, so we will mix this. Then what happens, because cellite is a large excess, most of the time we will find cellite only. These sodium sulfate or water, they are completely covered with cellite. So we need to mix it very properly so that cellite will cover sodium sulfate and water. So they are not available freely. Okay, right. When we use this mixture, then we can add 1 spatula or 2 spatula, because the resulting itself is a resulting mixture is a powder. So we can add 1 spatula, 2 spatula, wait for some time, then again add 1 spatula, wait for some time. Okay, so we can add this careful, careful addition. Careful addition of this mixture. After completion after decomposition of LaH, cellite is just an inorganic material, so it will not come in the organic solvent. What we need to do is just do a filtration. When we do filtration, all this cellite will be filtered, leaving only the compound and organic solvent. Okay, so this is the best method. So first we will prepare this mixture, then we will add 1 spatula by spatula. But these are a little bit tricky, so sometimes they may be dangerous also. Okay, so most of the time people use this method. So first we will mix cellite, sodium sulfate and a small amount of water. We will mix it properly, then we will add 1 spatula at a time to the reaction mixture. So after some time we can filter it, because cellite is an inorganic material, it cannot be filtered. Please take a snapshot. I'm changing this page. Next, we will see some examples where we use LAH as a reducing agent. Because LAH is a very strong and a very dangerous reagent, we must conduct this reaction at very low temperatures. Okay, so when we do use this LAH for reducing a carbonyl, any carbonyl will undergo reduction, whether it is aldehyde, ketone, carboxylic acid, ester, amide, okay, anhydride, acid chloride, all of them will undergo reduction with LAH because LAH is such a powerful reducing agent. It will release 3 hydride ions. Okay, I'll give the mechanism. So it is a similar mechanism where we use sodium borohydride. It is similar like this. Okay, lithium will coordinate to carbonyl, so it will polarize the carbonyl bond. Then aluminum hydride minus, so H minus transfer, that means bonding along with the bonding electrons, H minus hydride ion transfer takes place. So it breaks like this. So what we will have, hydride transfer, then O minus will again attack an aluminum. So it is similar to borohydride reduction. So we'll have other 3 hydride sources. So it is minus charge, lithium is plus charge. Similarly, we can add 2 more carbonyls because altogether LH can donate only 3 hydrides. So we have already used 1 hydride. So we LH will can donate another 2 hydrides. So we can add only 2 carbonyls. So what we will get is 3 AlH. So it is minus, lithium is plus. So when we do workup, when we add water, what happens? H plus will add to oxygen, OH minus will add to aluminum. Okay, so when we do hydrolysis, so this will be alcohol. It will be only 3 alcohols. So it is similar to borohydride reduction. Only thing is borohydride will transfer all the 4 hydride ions to the carbonyls, whereas LAH will only transfer 3 hydride ions. So that is the only difference between LAH and sodium borohydride. we can reduce an ester using LAH. So the product will be alcohol. How do we get this? I'll give the mechanism. First, one H minus hydrate transfer takes place to the carbonyl. So carbonyl oxygen bond will break down. It gives minus and H. Then again this O minus will polarize back to generate the C double bond O. Then OR minus alkoxy is a good leaving group. So OR minus will be leaving and we again generate an aldehyde. So when we are reducing a ester, first ester will be reduced to aldehyde. Then when we transfer one more H minus, then aldehyde will be reduced to alcohol. Guys, I'll stop the class now. Yeah, thanks for your cooperation.